Welcome back to Frostbitten Tales. Tonight, we ride into the dark with a long-haul trucker who swears he saw something hunting him on the backroads of America. Somewhere out there, beyond the headlights, it waits. Not a wolf, not a man, but something in between. This story is called The Midnight Highway. My name's Jake Turner. I've been a trucker for over 20 years, and I've seen just about everything you can see on the road. Drunk drivers swerving over the line, accidents that leave nothing but twisted steel and blood on the pavement, animals running out in front of the rig. But nothing prepared me for what I saw that night. It was late October, a Tuesday. The kind of night where the world feels empty, like everyone else has vanished. I was running Route 68, a long, lonely stretch cutting through pine forest and farmland. Out there, you can drive an hour straight without passing another set of headlights, and sometimes that silence feels heavier than traffic ever could. The sky was black, no stars, no moon, just my headlights, carving a tunnel through the fog that clung to the rod. It moved like smoke, curling and twisting, swallowing the edges of the highway whole. That's when I started to feel it, that prickling sensation creeping up the back of your neck, the kind you get when you know, without a doubt, that someone's watching you. I told myself it was nothing, just the road playing tricks. But my dog, Rusty, he knew better. Rusty always rode shotgun with me. Big shepherd mix, tough as nails. I'd seen him stare down coyotes, even chase off a black bear once when it got too close to the truck. He wasn't the type to scare easy. But that night, he pressed against the passenger door, ears pinned back, lips curled in a silent snarl. A low growl rumbled deep in his chest, so faint I felt it more than heard it. Like thunder, too far away to see, but close enough you know it's coming. "Easy, boy," I muttered, reaching over to calm him. But my hand stopped halfway. His eyes weren't on me. They were locked on the tree line, just beyond the reach of my high beams, unblinking, fixed. That's when I realized Rusty wasn't growling at shadows. He was growling at something real. I tightened my grip on the wheel, every nerve in my body screaming. I wanted to hit the gas, to tear down the road and leave the fog, and whatever was in it, behind me. But something kept me steady. Some part of me needed to know what was out there, and that was my first mistake. The first time I saw it, I thought my eyes were lying. Something moved in the tree line, tall, dark, running alongside the road. At first I told myself it had to be a bear. I've seen plenty. But this thing wasn't loping like a bear. It was smooth, deliberate, and fast. I glanced at the speedometer, 55, and it was keeping up. Not falling behind, not lunging, just pacing me. I flicked on the high beams. The fog swallowed most of it, but every few seconds I caught a flicker of movement. Shoulders heaving, a long stride, something tall slipping between the pines. Then it was gone, vanished, like it had melted into the woods. My gut twisted. Rusty barked once, sharp, high, then cut himself off with a whimper. And the silence after that bark was worse than the sound itself. That's when the CB radio came alive. At first, just static, crackling, faint, but then a voice, low, broken, like it was being dragged across gravel. "Don't stop." I froze, snatched up the mic with sweaty hands. "Breaker 19, who's out there?" "You got a copy?" Static hissed, filled the cab, and under it, I swore I heard something else, a growl. Not from Rusty, not from outside, from inside the radio itself. A few miles later, I saw it again. This time it didn't hide. It stepped out of the trees, crossed the road. Not running, not rushing, just walking. And the beams of my headlights caught it full on. 7 feet tall, maybe more, covered in matted fur that clung to its frame like wet ropes, legs bent backward like a dog's. But it walked upright. And the head, God help me. A wolf's face, long snout, ears pricked. But the eyes, The eyes were human, yellow, intelligent, staring right through me. Rusty went wild, barking, snarling, pawing at the glass. Then, silence again, tail tucked, whimpering low. I drove past it, heart pounding, every muscle tight as a steel cable. But I couldn't shake that image, those eyes, watching me go. I pulled into the next rest area just to breathe, just to prove to myself I hadn't lost my mind. The place was empty. Cracked asphalt. One flickering streetlight buzzing like it was fighting for life. I climbed out, walked around the rig, and that's when I saw them. Claw marks, deep gouges raked down the side of my trailer. Fresh, and higher than I could reach if I jumped. The sight made me sick. I lit a cigarette with shaking hands. The smoke did nothing to calm me. That's when headlights rolled in. An old Peterbilt, paint flaking, rust biting at the fenders. The kind of truck that looked older than the man driving it. He climbed out, big guy, beard down to his chest, eyes sharp, but tired. He saw me. Then the scratches. "You saw it, didn't you?" he said. My mouth went dry. "What the hell was it?" He shook his head. "Don't matter, don't stop again tonight, not until you're clear of these woods." His voice was low. Final. "Wait," I called. "You know what it is? You've seen it before?" But he didn't answer. Didn't look at me again. Just climbed back into his cab, rolled out into the dark, leaving me with claw marks and questions I didn't want the answer to. I pulled back onto the highway, blood pounding in my ears. Every instinct told me to floor it and not look back. But the problem with instincts is sometimes they're right. The fog swallowed the road again. The headlights barely carved 10 feet in front of me. Rusty sat stiff, ears pinned, staring at the side window. Not the road, not ahead, but the trees. That's when I heard it. A thud. Heavy. On the roof of the cab. The whole rig shuddered, metal groaning under the weight. My breath caught. I knew exactly what it was. Then came the sound. Scraping. Slow, deliberate. Claws dragging across metal, circling the roof above my head. Rusty snapped and barked, losing his mind. He leapt at the windshield, teeth bared, like he could bite through glass. I gripped the wheel so tight my knuckles cracked. And without thinking, I slammed the brakes. The 18-wheeler screamed, tires locked, the trailer fishtailed. Whatever was on the roof, it slid. I saw it through the windshield as it flew forward. A dark, massive shape, limbs too long, head too narrow. It hit the asphalt, rolled, and, with impossible speed, scrambled upright. For one heartbeat, one frozen instant, we locked eyes again. Yellow, burning, hungry. Then it lunged at the truck. I floored it. The rig roared, engine howling, gears grinding. The creature struck the grill head on. The impact threw its body across the hood, slammed it into the ground. But when I looked back in the mirrors, it was already standing and running after me, mile after mile. It kept pace, faster than anything should have been. Every glance at the mirror, it was there, a shadow in the fog, claws striking asphalt, leaping closer. Then it disappeared, no shape, no sound, nothing. I almost believed I'd lost it, until I heard the rattle. The trailer shook, metal groaned. The rig pulled to one side. It was on the back, climbing. The truck swayed under its weight. Rusty barked until he was hoarse. I mashed the accelerator, 90, 95. The trailer whipped like a tail. Then, boom, something slammed the back doors, hard enough to dent steel, hard enough to knock cargo loose inside. And then, screech. Claws dragged down the doors, peeling paint, carving deep into the metal. I knew if I stopped, if I slowed, it would tear its way in. That's when headlights appeared up ahead. A gas station, a lonely dot of light in the sea of black. I didn't think, didn't plan. I tore off the highway, the truck shrieking as I swung into the lot. Brakes screamed, trailer swayed, Rusty howled. The rig skidded sideways, tires screaming across asphalt. And then, silence. For 1 second, Everything was still, and I thought maybe it was gone. But then I heard it, above me. The roof buckled, claws punched through the steel. 1, 2, 3, reaching. I grabbed the shotgun I kept behind the seat, kicked the door open. Rusty bolted out, and for the first time, I faced it head-on. It crouched on the roof of the cab, long arms splayed, claws sinking into steel like paper, drool dripping from its muzzle, steaming in the cold air. Up close, the stench hit me. Rot, blood, wet fur. It growled, a sound so deep it rattled in my chest like a second heartbeat. I raised the shotgun, hands shaking. It moved first, a blur of black fur and muscle. It launched straight at me. I fired. The blast lit the night like lightning. Pellets tore into its chest. The thing screamed, a sound half wolf, half man, all nightmare. It hit the ground hard, scrambled back on all fours. Blood sprayed across the pavement, but it didn't run. It circled, low, predatory. Rusty barked, snarling, fur bristled. I racked another shell. "You want me?" I shouted. "Come on then!" It charged. I fired again. This time I caught it in the shoulder. The force spun it sideways, but it still didn't fall. It staggered back, growling, yellow eyes blazing with hate. And then, just like that, it turned, bolted into the woods. Gone. The gas station attendant came out, wide-eyed, asking what the hell was going on. But when I showed him the claw marks, the blood, the shredded steel, he just shook his head, said he'd seen worse. Said some things out here weren't meant for the daylight. I was about to argue when Rusty growled low, not at the trees, not at the shadows, at the man. The attendant froze, eyes narrowing. Then he smiled. Not the kind of smile you give a customer, not human. Too wide, too sharp. And when he spoke again, his voice carried that same gravelly distortion I'd heard on the CB radio. "You weren't supposed to stop, trucker." The hairs on my arms stood up. I stumbled back, shotgun shaking in my hands. That's when I noticed the fog thickening again, curling at the edges of the lot, and in it, shapes, tall, lean, moving closer. The attendant just leaned against the doorway, calm as a man watching the weather roll in. "They'll follow you, Jake," he said. "Doesn't matter how far you run. Doesn't matter how fast you drive." Rusty barked, frantic, pulling at his leash toward the truck. And for the first time in my life, I listened to my dog without question. I bolted for the cab, fired up the engine, and tore out of there with the tires screaming. In the mirror, I saw the attendant standing in the glow of the streetlight, still smiling. And beside him, rising out of the fog, those yellow eyes. I drove until sunrise, 200 miles straight, never once looking back. But even now, on nights when the fog rolls in thick and heavy, I swear I hear them. The claws, the growl, and that voice on the radio, whispering like it's riding the signal itself. Still watching. You've been listening to Frostbitten Tales. The road is long, the night is dark, and some things out there don't care who you are as long as you bleed. So if you're driving late and you feel the fog closing in, don't pull over, don't stop. And whatever you do, don't trust the man at the gas station. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.